Hi YouTube, this is the Peaceful Prepper. There's a video challenge going around to identify what are the 5 items you would bring to a SHTF situation. And this isn't a contest or anything, it's just a challenge. And I think Van Prepper started this video discussion, but there are a growing number of channels that are posting their own versions. Prepper Potpourri just did one and suggested I do one too, so here it is. I'm going to assume I need to leave my house and can only bring these items. I also assume I'm appropriately dressed for the weather with good shoes on. And since I live in a city, I'm choosing items geared for my surroundings. For anyone who isn't familiar with the initials SHTF, it stands for shit hits the fan. I think of myself as more of a shit happens SH kind of prepper than SHTF, if that makes any sense. For many people, SHTF has come to imply a large, widespread disaster that impacts the social structure. Probably for most people who call themselves preppers, it encompasses a wider variety of situations, but I don't think there is a single person I've ever met who doesn't relate to the fact that shit happens. And I've found it a good way to talk to people who are leery of, quote, prepping. So let's get down to my list. Both Van Prepper and Prepper Potpourri used some kits as one item, so I'm going to do that, but this first item I'm going to push the boundary just a little bit. Unless it's freezing temperatures, water is my first priority. So a stainless steel water bottle, preferably filled with water, is my first item. But I'm going to consider this a water kit and include a Silcock key to allow me to refill my bottle from the outside of some commercial and apartment buildings. Obviously, this assumes city water is still good, so if I really wanted to push the idea of a kit, I would include a water filter and purification tablets. Warmth is my next priority, and this item can also provide shelter and signaling. I'd bring the Survive Outside Longer, their emergency blanket for 2, or something equivalent. It's stronger and larger than a typical Mylar blanket. They now also have a an emergency sport utility blanket that's even larger and thicker and stronger without being too heavy, I believe. That might be my first choice, but I've never actually used one or even seen one in person. A small fire kit can provide warmth, the ability to boil water, and cook and signaling. I keep my wilderness hiking emergency supplies with a small fire kit in my car, and my car is currently under almost 2 feet of snow. So here's a picture of a random fire kit that looks pretty good. It looks like a good option. A compact but well-supplied first aid kit is definitely on my list, and I try to include N95 masks in my first aid kits. They provide protection from a lot of air contamination, which can happen anywhere, but may be particularly likely in the city. And number 5 is an emergency radio flashlight combination that's powered by a crank and has a solar panel. Ideally, there would be a way of two-way communication to at least let my family know where I am, how I am. In this situation, I'm going to leave them hanging. It just doesn't make the top 5 list for me. If I had a partner or children, that would probably be a different story, and that would increase in importance to me. I am going to stretch the guidelines of the challenge yet again to suit myself and add another item and a runner-up category. First, personal security. I think I've just found myself the perfect self-defense weapon, a combination iPhone case and brass knuckles. Okay, obviously I'm kidding, but I saw this picture and I just couldn't resist. As always, I'm not going to talk about my personal self-defense choices on YouTube, but any item I carry would be in addition to the most important part of personal security, which is our brain. Being aware of our surroundings, anticipating potentially threatening situations, and avoiding them whenever possible. These items don't make my top 5 or 6, and they're usually heavy and bulky to carry, but are worth mentioning in an urban situation. A pry bar, a pair of bolt cutters, and/or a multifunctional demolition tool like the Annihilator by Dead On. I'm pretty sure the name of the company is Dead On. Dead On. So what are the 5 or 5-ish items that you would bring? Thanks for watching, and thanks to Prepper Potpourri for encouraging me to do this. It was an interesting thought experiment. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Be safe, be happy.